Right, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm doing a bit of a different one today. I'm in my greenhouse, as you can see, and I'm gonna be potentially starting like a series, kind of. So I'll do a video in my greenhouse of each month, showing you what I'm growing and how it's looking. So obviously I'll start with March, and I'm just gonna go through everything here. It is going to include a lot of my carnivorous plants, because I've got a whole bench full of carnivorous plants, but I've also made another bench now, so I've got another bench full of starting seeds and a couple of my cacti on there. And I've brought a few things in into here from my bedroom, so it's slowly filling up. So I'll go through it all with you, and at the end I'm gonna plant some of my potatoes, and I'll show you as well. I've built a huge potato bed, but I'm going to be sowing some more in bags so that I have some more. But well, I've got a lot left over. So I've got a first early crop, which is rocket, which here, and you can see I've got, what is that, 4 left over of those. And then I have a main crop variety, which is Cara, and I've got about 10 of those left over. So I'm gonna not waste them, and I'm gonna use some grow bags. So I'll start with just showing you what's in here, and we can move on from there. Right, so starting this side, I have all of my Venus flytraps. So my B52 is finally starting to show some new signs of growth, some new leaves coming through. My Dracula also doing the same, looking really nice, and I'm looking forward to that, like bringing in some colour. My fused tooth is doing okay. It's taken a while to kind of acclimatise to my conditions, and you can see there are a couple of leaves did kind of die off, but it is looking alright at the moment. And then I've got my UK2 looking fine. My other UK2 looking fine as well. They've both got quite a few new leaves coming through just here, so they're looking quite good. And then this one is my mega traps. I accidentally wrote out the wrong trap, so I took the wrong label, so I took it out. So that's my mega traps. And then I've got my 2 cup traps here, which are looking good. Also, a little tip: I've been making my labels out of old like milk cartons, so just cut up the white milk bottle and then make some labels out of that. Saves me having to buy labels. So at the back here we've got this is bristle tooth, and there are a lot of them. I bought these on eBay a couple of days ago and I paid for, what was it, 4 big ones, 4 adults, the other adults here, and then 12 little ones I think, but I ended up getting like over 20 in total. So I've got 15 of them here, and then a few in that pot, and then there's little ones within those ones as well, but they're all looking nice. They were in the post for a while, so they're looking a little bit yellow. You see the new shoots are looking a little bit yellow, but they're going to be quite nice when they come up. And then here I've got my Drosera Alicia, which are all growing really nicely. And then moving up this way, my Filiformis are all coming up quite nicely. They're starting to unfurl. Finally, you can see there's some tiny little like dewdrops on there, so they're finally starting to wake up. And then we have Drosera spatulata here, just 2 of those. We've got some Drosera spilos, which are last year's ones, but they have like overwintered and grown back. Then here we've got my Dionei muscipula. This is the red piranha, which is finally starting to show some signs of growth, but it's taken such a long time, and that one really died down this winter. Then over the back there are a couple of empty pots. I've got a couple of Sarracenias. So this is a Sarracenia minor, and that one's Waycross Georgia, that one is. And then here I have another Sarracenia minor cross, and this is Oreophylla cross minor. So they're looking a bit not much to look at the moment, but when they grow in, they're going to be really nice. At the back I have some more Sarracenias. Those ones are unidentified because I bought those from Wisley and they didn't have labels in, so they were on sale for I think they were £2. Then moving on further, what have we got? We've got a wild like pea that I've mentioned in one of my other videos. It's just a seed that I collected over the park and I've just started growing it. Then down here we have some divisions of the green sawtooth. Then moving on, we're almost done with the carnivorous plants, don't worry. Moving on over here we have some binata, and I divided them as you guys know, and they're all in there, they're all coming up quite nicely. You can see here they're starting to uncurl. So right, and then here I am now getting onto the normal plants. I've got some seeds going, so here I've got some oxeye daisies, just 2 rows of oxeye daisies which are all coming up. I've got some scabious here, which I'll show you the picture, is this scabious here. So it doesn't show you the flower, it just shows you the seed head, which I guess is what it's grown for, but that's that. Then I have some phlox, which is not coming up at all yet, so that's taken quite a while, and some consolida, and only one has started emerging so far. So that is that for now. This is one bench, and then my second bench, which I made, is over here, so I'll move on over there. Right, so starting at the back here, we've got some seedlings of hellebores. So these actually self-seeded from the hellebores that I have in my garden, and I dug them up and I'm making sure they survive. There's also a lot of weeds coming up at the back here, but I wanted to kind of keep them just to see what they grow into, as I couldn't identify them. They didn't look like regular weeds to me. So anyway, these are some erigeron and then some cowslips. The erigeron, if anyone's wondering, looks like, I brought the seed packets out so I can show you guys. Looks like this, but they just have not germinated yet, and they were sown on the 11th of February, so taking quite a while. And the cowslips also haven't emerged, so I'm not counting on these to germinate. But moving on, we have some bird's foot trefoil here, which is a wildflower. I don't have the picture of that, but maybe I can find one and insert it. And there's lots of them coming up. They were grown for a project, so, but I will be keeping a few of them for myself. Moving on here, we have some cosmos. So we've got cosmos candy stripe, and we have cosmos cranberries. I have one packet which I can show you the picture. But the other packet unfortunately doesn't have the picture on it. So that is the cranberries, well, click cranberries. So yeah, they are coming up nicely. There's a lot of them. I've sown more than I need, just so that I have the choice of getting rid of a few. Here I've sown some red acer seeds. These are just weeds coming up here. These two are just weeds, so they're not coming up just yet. And then I've got 2 acorns that I've planted in these. Nothing yet. They're probably going to take quite a while. Then I've got more binatas here, so I divided the other pot. Right, so here we have the euonymus fortunii cuttings that I took a while back, and I've pinched out all the tips so that they start bushing out a little bit more. Here I've got some iris baby blues just across the back here, quite a few of those, and they're finally starting to put on some growth, so hopefully they'll flower this year, but we'll find out. Here I've got my variegated aloe arborescens, which is sending through, you can just see it there, a new leaf coming up. It's looking quite nice, looking nice and healthy, so he's doing good. The variegation you can see a little bit better now compared to when I unboxed it. And then here we've got one of my one of my cactus containers. This is looking really good. This was outside last summer. It spent the whole of its summer outside, so, and then I brought it in for the winter and I've brought it back out, so he's looking good. You can see the cactus is starting to, that big cactus is starting to go a bit wrinkly where I haven't watered it for a while, but I'll be watering that a bit more often now that it's got a bit warmer. Then over here we've just got another cutting there. That was a leaf cutting. I don't know the name of the plant, but that's growing quite nice and it's getting a really nice colour. So, and then here we've got some seedlings of some honeysuckle, so Lonicera. Then moving down, we have here my little bog planter, which is looking messy at the moment, as they do this time of year. I could cut it all down, but I kind of want to allow it to photosynthesize as much as possible right now, and then as the new traps start to come, I'll then choose to cut it down. The fly trap in here is looking awful. It just didn't do very well this winter, but I mean it's still alive, so I'll wait and see what it does. Here I've got a Drosera here. I can't remember the name. Is it rotundifolia? It is, yeah. So that one's just starting to wake up now, and then this Sarracenia here is just sending up a flower, so that's quite exciting. And here we've got just a flowering planter. It's wilting a little bit, so I've watered it this morning. Down here we've got some sweet peas. These are the ones I collected from my plant, which I'll insert a picture here, and they're all coming up quite nicely. They've come up quite quick. I sowed them on the 29th of February. Well, actually that's quite a while ago now. Here is my lemon tree, or lemon plant. Not quite a tree yet, but he's doing okay. A few of his leaves are starting to crunch off where it kind of grew that stem too early, and then it got some frost damage. Over here I've got two agaves. They're both doing well. They were in my propagator upstairs, but now I've brought them down. We've got a few sick plants here, so these have just got aphid problems or not looking too well, so they've just been put in this little pot over here to be forgotten about. And moving down, this is a bit messy down here, but I've got my Nepeta that I still need to plant out. And then over here my Brugmansia, which I left out all winter. I kind of thought I'll just buy a new one next year. Left it out all winter, and then noticed that it's actually starting to sprout some new shoots, and you can see some green shoots on the stem. So I've brought it into my greenhouse to try and get it going. So I'm glad it's still alive, but I did kind of let it get this bad. I just didn't want to keep it in my bedroom because of the size of it. So that's everything that's growing at the moment in my greenhouse. Oh, I didn't mention here, I've got my more Drosera Aliceae here. These I soaked these underwater for 2 days because they were smothered in aphids, so it's now just trying to make amend. And then here I've got a Verbena bonariensis cutting, which I did a video of last year. Right, and down here I've got some lettuce. This is Saladin, which is a variety of like similar to iceberg lettuce. I've only planted one in each cell, and they were sown on the 18th, so just a few days ago, so they haven't come up yet. And then here I've got some tomatoes sown, which is Moneymaker, and again one in each cell, and they haven't come up just yet. Under the bench I've got some hanging baskets that I'll be doing this summer, and then just a lot of Ophiopogon that I have separated, divided just down there, and then a house plant that's kind of been left in here during the winter, and it's not looking very good at all. So yeah, that's everything at the moment. Now I will show you a little bit that's going on in my garden, and I'll quickly show everyone the potato planter that I made, and then I can sow my other potatoes. Right, so I'm just going to insert here a few of the bulbs that are flowering in my garden at the moment, because a couple of people have been mentioning, like asking if I have any flowers at the moment, so I'll just include that here. Right, so this is the planter that I made. I just made it out of pallets, so it's not super pretty to look at, but I've got the early crop in the front, so Rocket in the front, and then Cara in the back. So yeah, and it's next to my compost bins, which is next to my bananas, which I will not be unwrapping until late April. So, but they're still doing alright. You can see they're actually starting to grow in here, so it's like bending over, so I could potentially open them up earlier, but I don't want to risk it. and the water feature needs a bit of maintenance. Right, so now I'm going to be planting my potatoes. This is really awkward lighting right now, but I'm going to be planting the first early crop, and then I'll finish off planting the others either off screen or another day. So here I've just got first earlies which I'll rocket, and I've turned inside out a compost bag and I'm going to be planting them in there. So I've just collected some dirt out of my compost bins, and then I'm going to be topping it up with ordinary compost that I've bought. So yeah, I'll kind of move the camera around or do whatever, and I'll show you how I plant them. Right, so I've just half filled that with the dirt from my compost bin, and that's been sitting there for like a year, so it's all properly broke down. There are a couple of roots in there, I'll take those out so they don't start growing. And because I've only got a few of these left, I'm going to be probably planting all of them. I've got 4, so I'm going to take the ones that have quite healthy looking shoots. So these are nice and dark, which means they're fully like photosynthesized and they're nice and ready to plant. I didn't chit them, I've just kind of had them sitting in my greenhouse for a few days. So yeah, that's all I'll be doing. I'll probably just stick 3 in here and then stick the 4th one in a separate pot, because I think 4 is going to be a little bit too much. So yeah, there's another one. And these, it says on the packet that they'll be ready to harvest within 10 to 12 weeks. Yeah, within 10 to 12 weeks. However, I'm just going to kind of do it by how it looks rather than dig them up in 12 weeks or 10. I think that's it. It just feels really early, but I'm not sure. I haven't grown potatoes in a few years, so I'm just going to be topping these up with compost, and then that'll be it. I'll give them water and then find a position for them to stay, so that I don't have to move them around too often. But I do have the choice of moving them because they're in this bag. So right, so I'll just quickly cover them over. They don't have to be too gentle because this compost is really fine. And I'm not going to bury them too deep, because with potatoes, as they start to come up, you kind of continue to rebury them so that they root out a bit more and grow a few more potatoes that way. So I'll just stick the rest of this bucket on. Spread that out nicely. I don't want to pat it down too much. So yeah, that is literally it. I'm not going to stick a label in there, although you probably should. But for me, I kind of keep these video logs as my labels, because if I ever question anything, I can just rewatch the video and then I'll know exactly what it is. But yeah, I'll just water these guys and then that'll be it. Right, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this sort of type of video. It was quite difficult to film, and the more I talk, the more out of breath I get. So I don't know if it's going to be that fun to watch, but definitely leave some suggestions on like what you want me to change about this style of video, because I would like to keep doing a series of like what's in my greenhouse, March, what's in my greenhouse, April, and that sort of thing. And just please, if you want to see any more stuff of the garden, let me know, because obviously I see it every day, so I don't know what's interesting to you guys and what isn't. But please give me feedback on this, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and let me know what you enjoyed about it. So I'll see you guys in my next video, and hopefully this was long, because I'm really trying to make some longer videos, because my I talk too fast and my videos turn out to be 10 minutes long each time, and it's really frustrating. But please subscribe, like and comment if you've enjoyed. So I'll see you in my next one.